show about me talking about previously about the med beds and the military in charge of it. They are. But there's a path for the 3D. If they want to get healed that way, they can do it. But the 5D path is not the same. The 5D path that we have already been maturing, transformation, it's creating. I'm taking the path of being able to do it yourself. Because the energy upon this earth is here. It's evolving. And so if you're thinking the physical eye and dwelling into the physical pain, and that is your choice, your conscious choice to say, this is how I have to heal. I have to heal through a med bed. But there's a choice. And I don't see myself healing through a med bed. I see myself healing through frequency and energy. And it's because we're already walking in, living in this med bed. And it's all it is for that to be turned on. Spirits are everywhere. For that to be turned on, we just have to acknowledge that that's the path we want to work in. And that's a path of how we want to do it. So it's just the change is here. And that's that path that's clear on that. Let's see if I can hold up my phone, but it's a clear path on making that choice. Either we're going to see red and follow the program, or you're going to see the golden path and that golden energy that we're going to work in. So that is why 3D, I see the military. 5D, I don't. I do not see it. So it wouldn't even make any sense in the 5D to be in a bed.
Right.
So it's, I think it's just a hard one for people to look at and go, we don't need to use a physical device to heal ourselves. But you guys have been working on changing your conscience, changing how you heal yourself, even what you put in your body. So the thing is, this is a part of the other path. Because the 3D, they will only follow what they feel leads them. Ooh, do you see that light coming?
Yes, that's really strong right there.
You guys see that? That's nuts.
That's almost like a little verification, isn't it? Mm-hmm.
See, healing. That's nuts.
Showed up just in time.
I know, right?
Look at it. It's even getting stronger.
I just want to show that rhythm. So, that's the whole thing. It's about energy. That's what it's about. So it's a whole process of that. Let me show you the path. If you're gonna let me show you the path with the light that's so damn bright. I'm just gonna see if I can find it here for you guys. So there was always a choice with that, because with the 3D path, they're still cloaked. They're still that is strange because there's no.
That's.
I don't have any. I got to tell you, it's not, because there's nothing open there. I want you guys to understand. I have no curtains that are open right there.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna let it stay as long as it wants. I'm not changing this. It's changing on its own. Do you guys see this?
It is. It's pretty amazing.
It's changing on its own. So they're just.
Tammy says Jenny is the light. Yeah.
Just let them show whatever they want to show. I'm just not going to stop it. Why they're showing that light, showing that reflection, however they want to do it. And I mean, and Jeep's been here. The curtains are gray in the back. They're thick.
Yes, they are.
Just.
And that wasn't doing that a few minutes ago. So.
No, it was not. So when we talk about the med beds and healing yourself, I mean, I can't even tell you. It's.
Mathis is saying it's a birthday present from Source, Jenny. No doubt.
It might be.
Yeah, it might be. Yeah.
So yeah, that's crazy. Just interesting. So let me try to find this while we're waiting for that to change, if it does.
Okay.
The light. Okay. So there was always the path, and we have to decide. We have to make a decision on that. So here's the path. So the path has the keys. The path always had the key, the golden key, the Trump key, the golden path, right? It always had that with the golden road, all of it. It's changing a little now. And then the 3D has the red eyes, the dark path, and a shadow. Anyway, and the shadow. So
it's backing off so you can show your Instagram.
Yeah. And it backed off. So
okay.
This is where we're at, guys. We're making a choice. What we're going to be, where we're going to go. We have to make that of free will. And how we heal and what we're going to do. Because it's a choice. And in that choice, it's like that blue dim light. It's funny how they had the red eyes and the blue dim light for the 3D, because those are two colors they show me for 3D. And then for the 5D was always violet, purple, and a gold.
Okay.
So making that choice is important. So, and I'm telling there's decisions that are going to come more, because we have to make more of these decisions on, here's one that I just talked about, the IRS and the sovereignty of it, of they're saying, are you going to follow that path of 3D and make it the law, or are you going to follow the sovereignty law and say, it's not part of me no more, I'm a free person? So there was always going to be down to us making a choice, standing in what we truly believe. And we're having to make that choice. And it's not something, and this one like shows the bridge, the cut in the middle of the bridge, you know, and it's going to split, because we're going into a split in dimensions, in the whole process, the whole thing. You know, we have to get ready in this process. So let me go back here. Okay. I have to edit the chat.
That's okay.
So yeah, I mean, I don't know how, you know, this happens the way it did, but we're going to have to make some choices. And your families may not make the same choice you will. And you've got to start to be okay with that. You have to start with being okay with making decisions.
Yeah.
And you can't take the whole tribe with you, because maybe the whole tribe was never supposed to come. And we all had to come to that conclusion. That who we're connected with in the bloodline, which seems to be, that gets us stuck in that 3D process. that we have to make these choices. Hold on, let me let her out again. Okay. She's sensing something, so I don't know.
Must have been that light.
Must have been. It's gone now. I don't know what to tell you.
Yep.
So, anyway.
So making choices.
Making
the
choices.
In the family, yeah.
So, but it's with those choices, you guys are not going to be in a suffering process that you think you're going to be in. You're going to be mourning. You're not going to be mourning the way that you think you are. You're not going into mourning. The soul's going into a more enlightened stage of going back to your higher self. So you will be looking at this a different way and adapting it to it a different way. So that's the thing about it. And we're at that choice. Is like, what's the path I'm taking here? I've got to come to that conclusion of that decision of what path am I going? Am I going this long physical road and doing it in the 3D and thinking that the system's in control of everything again? Or am I doing it in the 5D and moving things in a direction and deciding what direction I need to be in? So we have to make those decisions. Those are coming up because things are falling apart, in the matrix way, and dismantling in that way. Sorry, guys. Sorry, dog's out somewhere. Anyway, so in that way, we have to make a decision. And you have to start thinking about this in the soul.
Yes.
And don't allow this 3D to consume that. This is the thing. In this 3D system, through marriage, through family, through obligation, through enslavement of our relatives and stuff like that, to make you feel obligated, you got to stop and sever that.
The program,
because they don't care if you they don't care whether you have an agenda with spirit or not. They care about what they can get from you, what they consume from you. It's not going to get you anywhere in the long run with it. It's going to get you just spinning your tail and then regretting not going ahead of the game. So I'm just telling you that this is stuff you need to start thinking about. You have to start thinking on the sovereignty side of things of what you're capable of doing, what your soul is capable of doing. What is your soul capable of moving things in a direction? That whole mental enslavement needs to start to be dismantled. And not thinking the system's in control. That's the thing. Not thinking that the system is in control.
So we have a quick question from Mary in regards to the 5D, 3D. If someone's in 5D, can they still see what's going on in 3D?
Yes.
Can you see
but
your family?
3D
Can you see everything else?
Cannot see what's in 5D.
Okay.
We can perceive and see them, but they cannot see us. They cannot see our vision because we did the work. But they cannot. Their veil is limited. Ours is not.
Okay, thank you.
And that's what matters. I mean, my whole life has been trusting Spirit's information. So we're down to the end of this big transformation that we really have to really go in all out with it because it's the next process. The next process is more of a peaceful process. And it's more kinder to your soul and your body and your physical realm.
Mm-hmm.
But that 3D is just going to entrap the mind again and play the same games again. And they really believe that time matters. They really are stuck in that time process.
Mm-hmm.
Leah's asking, stuck in that money process.
Yeah. So question from Leah, can we see them, which you just did answer, and can we help them?
You are there to perceive it, but not carry them. You cannot carry them into the 5D. You can't do that. They have to do the work to get there. But this is the thing about it, perceiving in the 5D, you are not going to be trapped in focusing on what's going on here. You're not. You'll be focused and so drawn into that light, into that information, that your soul, it's almost calling you home in a different way. And you understand so quickly of how important that is. And there was always a choice that it has to be made. In this process. I mean, because everything's already kind of erupted, opened. Are we waiting for the big sound? We are. And when that frequency comes in, some can hear it and some will not. Some will be in tune to it and aligned to it, and some will not. And it's literally, to answer your own question on this, is if you've been listening since a young age and you've woken up in the path, you're already there. You're already aware. You're already wanting the truth. Your soul is already alert to tune into the truth. You're not going to miss it. You've already been thrown to the wolves from your family.
True.
That's the thing. So you have to start thinking you have a choice of what path your mindset's going to perceive. And it's important. And it's so funny now because I don't have a reaction to news at all. I don't have any reaction to it. It's nullified to me because I don't believe it in a process because it is just an illusion. Now, there's no way to verify what they're showing you in a realness process.
Yeah, that's true. It's hard to get.
The only way you really know is feeling it, sensing it. That's the truth, because someone else says it's real. You can't go by that either. You have to really go into your own instinct on this process. It's important. And even with day in and day out, since I was young, and just, it's always with spirit going, someone else can do this. Someone else can find this door. Someone else can find this path. And there's resistance, and there's good days. There's bad days. There's days I'm pissed off about doing it. But I knew the end result is we were going to have to really stand up, and then we were really going to have to fight, and we're really going to have to make a strong decision. It's important. So,
So we have a couple questions on 5D if you want to answer them.
go ahead.
Will younger children be in 5D?
Yes, because they are not at the mature stage of making that choice. But it also, the ones that are being born are lined into that frequency. So as a child, they're already lined in it. They're already lined in a path of it. So it's not, they're guided, they're led, they're watched, they're observed in a different way. So yeah.
And are they able to heal themselves as well?
Yes. It would be more acceptable for them of seeing something and thinking it's more pure than it is evil.
Thank you.
So, I mean, it's really, that's why I say it with this 4th of July. I mean, look at the process of this. You're not celebrating another year doing the same thing. It has to change in what the meaning is for us. Something has to come out to give you that verification that our world is changing. Because that 4th of July is about independence in a different way. But I would think at this phase, it would be independence of the matrix, independence of the enslavement that we've been in. It's different. That's the thing about it. And so nothing would move me towards the 4th of July unless it was some profound movement of that, moving into the future of the golden age, or presenting, or if the XRP finally went up into the party energy that they say it's going to, because a door needs to be opened and a different independence of the golden age needs to be celebrated.
Right.
That's what's important. So we can ask more questions.
Right. Sherry's asking, when will the split happen? Does that mean we won't see you no more if it takes us longer to get there?
No. I mean, most people here, they're aware. They're looking. They're listening. It's not that. It's just, it's like this at the, you know, what they say, you have a choice when you die. You either take that matrix light and you follow that matrix light, or you follow and sense the real light. It's a choice. It's a choice of not just following the sheep into the red light. It's thinking independently, not in fear. Whatever the consequences are of thinking and doing things on your own. I mean, who's binded by the church anymore? Nobody. Who's binded by a religion anymore? Nobody. Who's binded by the financial institutions anymore? We're done.
Right.
The medical facilities, we're done. The education programs, we're done. We're done with NASA. We're done. Oh, look at all that you're done with in a complete circle. And the only thing you can really say that you can depend on is your instinct. It's always right.
Yep.
That's what will get you through everything. That's what will ground you. That's what will help you make the good decisions.
Right.
To get into a reset point, to reset our lives, to reset how we live, to reset how we eat, how we take care of ourselves, how we curb our young adults to do the right thing again. That's what matters.
Mm-hmm. That's a big thing, the young ones.
Yeah, we're already there. We're already there. So, it's going to be an interesting process of where we're going. And I'm telling you, there's some warriors that are not even going to be phased. Anything can drop in front of their face, and they're at a point they don't care. It don't matter.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't. Understanding and looking at the weather, everything has energy, everything has frequency, everything is balancing off to a certain point, everything is being surfaced, everything is reacting to what's going on in the earth.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, as we go into the weekend, I think there's going to be some storms coming. I don't want to be eating anything in the 5D. I've always said to Spirit, if there's some energy or appeal that we need to take that I'd never have to touch food again, I'm good. Because you never sit there and see aliens chowing down. When I go up there and I see them on these councils, no one's ever eaten.
Mm-hmm.
Ever. They're not. They're sitting in vibration. They're sitting in tone together. Even communication is in a tone of vibration, an echo. So, the buffet is not there. Just saying. Neither is alcohol. So let's get over that
Correct.
one. Okay.
Correct.
That one's going to have to go out the door. That's going to be a big deal with a lot of humans on the alcohol, because it's not a need.
Right.
Okay, we can move on to some other questions.
To add to the 3D.
Yeah.
Let's see. Faro's got a question. So as we move from 3D to 5D healing, will we shift from being done to us to being activated within us?
What was the question again?
As we move from 3D to 5D healing, will we shift from being done to us to being activated within us?
It's like new skin, new rejuvenation, walking into the crystal line, being in activation mode. Once you get to full capability capacity and understanding that in a frequency way, it's that Lucy, that stillness in the eyes of knowing everything and not blinking or worried or understanding that you're capable of doing so much more.
Right. Okay. Thank you. Alrighty. I'm gonna switch over. The big beautiful bill passed, right? What exactly will that mean for the planet, Jenny? The whole planet.
Into the right direction. There's layers that needs to be done, and so it starts the dismantling phases, and it starts also taking care of the people that need to be taken care of.
With Candace, I think we're going to talk us to pass a bill that the Senate voted. The Senate passed beautiful tax. That's good. Once I will start talking, but I want to bring attention to them come in and try and take it down, because the vote and pass now, and needs to get through. Has to go back to what they get to send. Trump and one of this predicted that done by July will be something that will also. So it is. It looks really good. So Johnson's having a lot of discussion with members, getting everybody happy. Trump's happy. He says Trump's so-called big beautiful bill, the chamber must approve it again with the amendments added by the Senate. So during an appearance in Florida alongside Donald Trump this afternoon, Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem said the administration is suing CNN for publishing a story about IceBlock, an app that alerts users when immigration agents are nearby. So coming after the deep state mainstream media, taking it down, CNN has seen a massive decrease in its audience. I think my audience is bigger than CNN at this point. So I think that, a lot of these different news media sites are basically going to get taken out. And CNN is obviously on the chopping block. So this was interesting. I've been saying this for a while, that Trump has been basically giving the okay to Russia to basically take out the Nazis in Ukraine and destroy NATO and destroy the deep state. All right. So all this is coming about. It says the White House has confirmed that the United States will halt shipments of air defense missiles and other precision munitions to Ukraine over concerns that U.S. stockpiles are too low, too bad. So Trump again, remember, so this is some of the stuff that people complain about, that Trump said when he gets in, he'll stop that war on day one. Well, he did try to stop that war, but of course the deep state has other plans. So he had Zelensky at the White House saying you need to agree to a ceasefire. Zelensky said no, ran to the UK, and the UK, along with all the other deep state Nazi governing bodies in Europe, basically said that they would back Zelensky and help him continue his war against Russia. All right. So this is what we're seeing. The takedown of the deep state in Ukraine. We all know it's the deep state. Zelensky's their puppet. Zelensky will not live a long life. He will not live a long life. Russia, and I don't know how much longer he's got to live, even as there in Ukraine. I think that if Zelensky was taken out by Russia, because they have tried to take out Putin several times, Ukraine has admitted to it. So if they actually do take out Zelensky, and I guess it was close. They had a sniper, a Russian sniper almost took him out not long ago, came really close. So if he does get taken out, then we'll see this war. Basically, we'll see a peace agreement very quickly with President Trump. They will bypass the European NATO Nazis and basically, stop this war. So again, Trump did his best to stop these wars. Same thing with Israel. Israel, kicking off another wing of this war against Iran. So Iran is the fomenter of the evil in the Middle East. Now I've seen other people that come on and say no. I was involved for decades as a Navy SEAL and as a CIA military CIA contractor military. Basically, we were looking for military targets, the war against terror. So we basically saw Iran funding all these. Now, I'm talking about so many of these shows, right? I'm talking about how Iran absolutely has been fomenting all the problems in the Middle East. It's in their constitution. They changed the constitution of Iran to basically come after everyone that didn't have the same opinion that the Iranian constitution had, which was now to basically go after everyone that's not Muslim radical. All right. So they've been funding Muslim radicals all over the Middle East, and they funded them to come to America to start problems here in America, which I believe that we're going to see at some point. When that happens remains to be seen. So it is coming. It will happen. And when that happens remains to be seen. Looking at Israel has agreed to conditions for 60-day Gaza ceasefire. So again, all these Candace Owens and, Tucker Carlson types that came out and said that Trump is, trying to start another war, World War III, negative, all right? Absolute negative. I say Trump is by far will go down in history as one of the greatest presidents in history of America. And these naysayers and these infiltrators like Candace Owens and Tucker Carlson will probably, maintain their viewership, because there's people that, don't really do the, the thorough investigative work that someone, and I have been involved in a lot of this stuff. And I'm telling you that Israel saved for last. All right. So Q has said this, that Israel would be saved for last. And we're seeing this. Israel is now, they've done the dirty work, just like Russia's doing the dirty work for the Q team, the White Hats, right? And President Trump said Bibi Netanyahu he was a war hero. Remember, I said that probably Netanyahu would go down as like one of those ancient Roman generals that went out and just kicked butt. And then once the war was over, they did away with him. All right. That's happened over and over again. Because these guys get too big for their pants, and they start to think that they can take over. Netanyahu was basically, I think he was corralled, and he is basically controlled by the White Hats. And so his days are numbered. I guess he's going through some trials. Will these trials be the end of him? It's very possible, very possible. And that could be the thing that we're looking at, the takeover and the destruction of the deep state within Israel. So Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens and all kinds of other people that have claimed to be truthers and in the MAGA, sphere, to me, they're actually more of a problem than a help, bringing information because they're just so anti-Israel. It's disgusting to me, right? Israel and the real Jewish people, not the deep state, right? The deep state is infiltrated everywhere. Israel, America, Europe. So you can't just go Israel, carte blanche, all of them are bad, right? That's dumb. We had Israeli operatives here in America during 9/11. But we also had British operatives. We've had British operatives involved in the Revolutionary War, the Civil War, World War I, World War II, Vietnam War. So everything's infiltrated, guys. And these knuckleheads, Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens, foaming at the mouth because they're not doing what their masters probably have told them to say and do. And that is to rein in Trump, so that by them attacking Trump the way they are, I think they're trying to help the deep state, quite frankly. I think there's, and I think that needs to be looked at, right? And again, I'm not saying that anyone that doesn't agree with MAGA or President Trump should be, held accountable and, taken off social media, whatever. I think we can figure that out ourselves. And I think we are going to figure out what kind of government we want. So that's what's going forward. Now, Iran, now that they have had this massive strike by the U.S. military, which they have been waiting for a long time, 40 plus years, right, for America to grow a pair, which President Trump has, quite obviously, quite a big pair. And he has come in and hammered Iran and given a signal to the Iranian people. We got your back. Let's take down this corrupt government. All right. So there are signs that this is happening in Iran. I predicted this would happen. Now, it remains to be seen whether the people form their own government, which is going to be tough. I say pretty much close to impossible, because they won't be just people just coming in. It'll be like the same thing that happened during, the revolution. And they said, well, we need somebody to be over us. And so let's say the clerics, let's bring the clerics in. So it'd be the same thing. So the only thing I think to reverse this process and make this right is for, and I believe he is trying to do that, and he is working in that direction. Although there's some people that are like, oh, he took a picture with so-so and he took a picture with so-and-so, so he's bad. Like, Trump's taking pictures with just about everybody, right? Everybody that can get next to him and get a picture with him has got one of those. So if Jeffrey Epstein, cozies up to Trump and then Trump finally figures out he's a bad guy and, says that he can't come on any of our properties and anyone, associated with him can't come on any of our properties, that's real. There's been people that have actually said that, and people that are in the truther community that are involved with that. So you can say what you want, but there's going to be people that are going to come in and say that the former Shah of Iran, and his son, who is looking to come in and help dissolve because I think that's basically reversing the problem. And I see him as reversing the problem all the way to the point where, he's really just a figurehead, but he's a figurehead that will get other governments able to be involved. He has the background, he has the stuff to come in and actually help them do that. Now, of course, we will not, if things get out of hand, we being America, if things get out of hand with him, we just like Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens, we would call that out and get involved probably. All right. So how do we get Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens, out of the picture? We stop listening to their bullshit. All right. All of it. All right. At this point, it's all bullshit to me. I used to love both of them. But the way they have come at MAGA and Trump, I'm like, you guys have just shown your true colors. All right. So that song, all right, true colors shining through. So they've shined through their true colors to me. I've basically disassociated myself with whatever they have to reveal from this point on. So, I mean, I've done this about other people. I'm probably not going to go too much further into this because you're going to choose yourself, right? You're going to do your own research. You're going to look at this and you'll be like, yeah, I still like them. It's up to you. It's free will here, right? You can be a Luciferian if you want to. They have Luciferian churches. You can be a Buddhist. You can be a Muslim. You can be a Christian. You can be. I'm my own person, and I find God how I find Him. Right. So, any of those ways, I think eventually we're basically going to do away with religion too. Yep. Politics, religion, the educational system as we have it right now, I think it all goes away, right? It's so corrupted and it's so infiltrated that it can no longer stand the way it is. So yeah, we have a Trump negotiated ceasefire with Gaza, 60-day ceasefire. Now, why would that be? Because we're starting to see the people turn against Hamas. They're starting to kill Hamas, the people, which is same thing with Iran. They had this evil group that was funded by Iran. So now that Iran is collapsing, Iran, and then I pronounce it both ways. I'm sorry if the perfectionists are out there, but if you see Libya, if you see all these different countries that have been infiltrated by Iranian Gestapo types, then you're going to start to see a turnaround in all of these countries. Libya, Syria, Lebanon, all of them without that, Yemen, all of them without that influence are going to change. I've been to all those countries. I've been to Lebanon. I haven't been to Iran, but I've been to Iraq, Afghanistan, Pakistan, Libya, if I haven't said that. So I've been to all those countries. All of them have very negative Iranian influence, right? So now that that's gone, you're going to see changes in all those countries. Pakistan, I think we're going to see some changes coming from Pakistan. There's dirty, rotten scoundrels in Pakistan been doing some bad things. I think they're going to go on the chopping block too. All right, so that's very interesting. So the real peace negotiator, Trump, is basically coming in and doing an incredible job, I believe. It's beautiful to see. So Candace Owens, in her own words, says she's embarrassed. And she's embarrassed she ever got involved with MAGA. She has MAGA regrets, right? Because of what Trump is doing, getting involved with Israel against Iran. All right. So again, no one had the cojones to go after Iran. It needed to be done a long time ago. Only Big Daddy Trump has been the one that had the cojones to do it. All right. Obviously, because he has the backing of some very impressive groups that have made the difference. So she says she has big regrets about campaigning for President Donald Trump. He's been a chronic disappointment. All right. So, yeah. Okay. Go your own way. So, go your way, Candace, and good luck out there. Right? You will no longer get support from a lot of us. And who knows how long that goes on. Tucker Carlson pivots away from MAGA, which has earned him unlikely praise. Of course, unlikely praise, where you think it's coming from? The Dems and the liberals, of course, they love it. So Tucker, in his own words, he regrets that the Dems, came away from the party of no war. So he remembers all of the hippies back in the 70s, 60s, 70s, and 80s, whatever, that, basically went in to become communists. So they were anti-war, which is great, and they didn't get their way, so they started, going into social media and big tech, and they got very rich, and now they're trying to control things from that end, right? Yeah, all those hippies from those days, a lot of those guys are big tech multi-billionaires that are controlling the narrative in a very negative way. So that's Tucker Carlson. Is somebody controlling his narrative? Some very wealthy former hippie billionaire, right? I don't know, but it doesn't look good. All right. So a lot of those hippie billionaires are now communists. A lot of them are communists, guys. And isn't that insane? Communists are supposed to share everything, but they're billionaires wanting to push communism. Yeah, that's not ever going to happen, right? Not here in America. Trump's Department of Justice just started stripping U.S. citizenship. Here's who they are targeting. So they're stripped naturalized Americans charged with crimes of their citizenship. So going after people. So we're going to see this happen in, I believe, some of the political realm. And then people that are, in a lot of different places that really shouldn't be. The Department of Justice may institute civil proceedings to revoke a person's United States citizenship if an individual either illegally procured naturalization or procure naturalization by concealment of a material fact or by willful misrepresentation. So who are other billionaires that might be, targeted for that? Well, Elon Musk. How about that? Elon Musk has been a very naughty man. He was a big, supporter of MAGA. Same thing. Is he an infiltrator? Is it being revealed? Are Trump and Elon working together to reveal other people that are suspect? There is that possibility. So Trump threatens to arrest two political opponents in same press conference hours after entertaining Elon Musk's deportation. All right. Wow. So mess around and find out, right? Ma'am Danny, that's quite a name, who 33, who was born in Uganda and became a naturalized U.S. citizen in 2018. So he, as we all know, he recently defeated Andrew Cuomo, because there's lots of, radical types there in New York now, and they voted to have Ma'am Danny, represent them. Wow. So we don't need a communist in this country, Trump said. But if we have one, I'm going to be watching over him very carefully on behalf of the nation. We're going to look at everything. So Ma'am Danny's response, well then, he said, so Ma'am Danny's campaign promises to stop masked ICE agents from deporting our neighbors. And then Trump said, well, then we'll have to arrest him. And we've, the Department of Justice had done that for a Democrat that was trying to, barrel her way into ICE, jail cell somewhere in New Jersey or whatever. And they tried to stop her, and she got physical with him. So she's under, she's having to fight for her career, her life, not her life, but maybe her life. Maybe she's going to go behind the bars for a long time. So part of her life, right? I think she needs to go to jail for a while. So Alexandro Mayorkas also is not looking so good. So he was successfully impeached by the Republican-led House, and then the Senate said, no, we're not going to push that. So he got off. And now Trump is coming back around and wanting him to be arrested, right? So Trump's used the impeachment as a talking point during his 2024 campaign. And Trump responded that Biden gave preemptive pardons to some of his allies and that he couldn't remember if Mayorkas was one of them. The reporter informed Trump that Mayorkas was not covered in the pardons and therefore could be prosecuted. If he wasn't given a pardon, Trump said, I could see looking at that. All right. Take a look at that. He looked at Kristi Noem and said, take a look at that. All right, let's arrest this clown down. So we're going to see this stuff, guys. It's coming in its right time. So Trump, also talked about, mentioned his feud a few hours after he rekindled his feud with Elon Musk over the tech billionaire's criticism of President's expansive budget bill. So Elon said, if that bill passes, we're going to have to start another party. Well, another political party actually would be good. Or maybe we shouldn't even have any political parties. So what is Elon getting at here? So again, he's trying to, rattle the cage. If he, maybe the first time I was like, okay, there's something here. Maybe they're working together to expose. Maybe they're working together to expose. So anyway, Elon may get more subsidies than any human being in history by far. And without subsidies, Elon would probably have to close up shop and head back to South Africa. No more rocket launches, satellites, or electric car production, and our country would save a fortune. So Trump is like hammering back. He's not messing around. So F around and find out, Now, we're seeing a lot of earthquakes that are happening around the world, guys. And this is because I think we're going through some serious earth changes that are coming in. It remains to be seen, what that looks like, how severe that's going to be. I think it's going to be severe. I think we're going to have very catastrophic earth changes coming up. And when you look at all the stuff that's going on, you're going to say, yeah, with all the things that are happening right now, it's starting to add up.
And tsunami fears of the experts, not only the locals. So we're close to 20 earthquakes that have rocked the Andaman Sea recently, raising red flags with geologists and disaster response officials.
All right, so you remember 2004, the Sumatra tsunami? What, 250,000 people that were killed, somewhere around there? That's crazy. So the same subduction zone has had a lot of earthquakes. And these are types of earthquakes that quite often lead up to something bigger, right? So, and this is not just that area. We're looking at things are starting to pop off all over the planet, guys. It's quite substantial, all of the things that are happening. So let's look at some of the things. I've been pointing out that we have a lot of earth change type stuff that's going on. The sun is going into a solar minimum. We're getting solar storms that are coming off. Coronal holes, all kind of crazy stuff. Coronal mass ejections that are coming off. Fortunately, they're not of a caliber, and they're facing to the Earth at this point that it would cause even more severe problems. Electrical energy. So the sun is electrical energy. So everything on Earth is electrical. Everything. Every one of your cells has electricity. It's electrified. And if you look at everything, it all has a certain vibration. So if you interrupt or overcharge a certain vibration, which the Earth is having done to it right now, you're going to start to have these earthquakes, tsunamis, storms, volcanic activities, and so forth. So we're seeing storms all over the world right now. Massive flooding in China and India, which I'm going to cover. I think we're getting ready to have some severe hurricanes that are going to hit the United States. And I think that's going to happen within the next several months. So that's why you see me up in the mountains here, right? So I get led when I'm led. And maybe I came here to stop some major earthquake activity or tsunamis, or I don't know why, guys. I go where God sends me. And maybe it was to, and I kind of laugh tongue in cheek, that it was to so that I wouldn't have a lot of damage like I did in the last hurricane. So that's what I believe is coming, unfortunately, for the United States, massive activity. So we're going to have to look at that and see if that's really going to have an influence. And if you look at this stream right here is basically telling you, yeah, we're getting hit today and over the next several days by some definitely strong energies.
I consider the Earth being like a energy onion. There's these different shells of energy going from the core to the mantle to the crust to the atmosphere. And then out into space, you have the radiation belts, and they can have variable flux. So there can be a high amount of electrons and a high amount of protons. There can also be a very low amount of these extremely high energy relativistic particles, meaning that they're traveling near the speed of light. This Earth's magnetic field acts as a particle accelerator. Well, what we're seeing right now in terms of the flux in the radiation belts is something that we don't see all that often, especially during solar minimum. We are right now in solar maximum. We just had a big push of electrons into the radiation belts from this high-speed stream impact, and we have a coronal mass ejection impact probably coming in the next 24 hours. It looks like we have a pretty surefire hit coming in. I can show you that with our coronagraph here, and this is differential, and you can see this push come out on all sides right there. So it's a weak partial halo coronal mass ejection.
So as you guys can see, we're getting a lot of this energy that's coming into Earth, and that's what causes, if you look back in time, there's been several points in history where we have low sunspot activity. And if you look back over the last decade or more, you see how basically it started to decrease over time. And of course, you know, they keep saying it's the hottest it's ever been. There are definitely variables, and that happens because you're having extremes. So the extremes are getting less on the hot side and more on the low cold side, as we're going to start to see. And we're also going to start to see more massive storms, far more impactful. And what is a storm? It's energy. It's energy, right? So these electrical energies that are coming out of the sun are causing these storms. And it also affects our body. It also affects our body. And we're having these storms within us. And as, you know, our bodies take in this energy, we start to, you know, look at people and go, oh, Tucker Carlson, Candace Owens, you guys are low energy now. And we're going to go, whoop, not pay attention to you anymore. So we're seeing a lot of this stuff because a lot of us are waking up. So the energies that come in, you know, cause problems for the Earth because the Earth is, you know, growing and changing just like we are. So there is a positive side to this if you can stay alive, right? If you can stay alive and, you know, survive the coming, you know, cataclysmic events. And it's just basically changing. We're going to see changes, like I just talked about, in everything on the Earth, in the way we deal with money, the way we do, you know, economically. Collapse happened with that as we change into a new system politically, you know, educationally. All these different things are collapsing. You know, definitely with the religious, right? And that's what we're seeing right now, I believe, in Iran. So Iran is collapsing. As that collapse happens, there will be monumental problems around the world. If they're lucky, the Hamas that still are alive in Palestine, they will run, or they will like say, hey, I'm with you guys now. Let's make this a better place, and I'll work with you. And people are probably like, no, you tried to like enslave us, and you got a lot of us killed. You must die now. So that's going to happen with a lot of these people. We'll see, like I said, slaughter in the streets, and it's already started in a lot of these places. Now, fortunately, in America, we have not seen that, but I see it as a possibility, right? There is a possibility that will happen here, and that most of that will happen will be because we're trying to protect ourselves, right? And then we'll know the people that are involved in trying to kill us, and then we'll go do the research and find where they live, and we'll take care of that, right? Or someone will, all right? When I say we, I know a lot of you are like, I'll be that guy. I've been in combat, and there's a lot of you, once you're faced with, you know, people walking down the streets, shooting people in cars, and slamming into houses, and killing people in the houses, you're going to cower. You're going to cower, right? So, and you can talk that you're not, but that's probably going to happen in the big cities, right? And I've said over and over again, get out of the big cities. Now, some of you guys think you're going to be able to like tough it out in there. I don't see it, right? So it'll eventually be a lot of that happening in a lot of cities, but there will be people like myself that are very focused, right? And we'll stop that in our neighborhoods and in our cities, little cities, and then, but it will go to the big cities, and there will be many big cities where it will, you know, get out of hand. So that's coming. I've talked about that for years. We're starting to see that starting to move in that direction. I think they're going to have another No Kings, demonstrations that are coming. I think it's supposed to happen on the 3rd or the 4th. And these are going to continue. So I've seen these overseas. And we, of course, we know we have a lot of people from overseas here in America now, thanks to Dems opening up our border, because they thought that, they would help them seize control of our country. That hasn't gone away. That has not gone away. So that problem has to be, solved. And Trump and team are like moving as fast as they can to take down the worst of those people, while the Dems resist, because they brought them in to take control of the country. So of course they're going to resist, because that was their key to having this country forever. There never would be any voting anymore, or if there were, it's like, yeah, we'll let you guys vote again. It's almost that way now. So the Trump team is going to turn that around, and they are turning that around, exposing a lot of that in a way that they were not able to last time because of all the resistance. There were still too many people that were involved in that. Of course, a lot of these people are being exposed now. People within, the truther community that were finding out they're not, right? And that reveal is going to continue. And then there's some that are still there that people, even though I've talked about them and I know that they're bad, there's other people that support them and keep them in those positions of power. So that will continue, I guess, until the ultimate reveal, I guess. Just like will happen, I guess, at some point with the Dem Party, and the Dem Party will just implode. And then probably portions of the Republican Party, on and on and on. So there's only a few people out there that I trust. We've seen Marjorie Taylor Greene on a show with Tucker Carlson saying that Ma'am Danny, whatever his name is, Bammy. And so that guy is probably going to, I think he might end up in the spa down south. I think that's where he's going, because there's a lot of stuff that's being revealed on him that's not out in a lot of the public. And I think that once a lot of that stuff gets exposed, how he's working with Obama in Washington, D.C., he's been there talking with Obama, that's been disclosed, and how he's working with other groups, that he supported Hamas. And then, we have the mainstream media come on, he didn't support Hamas. Yeah, we did a little research and we saw that he did. So shut the F up. Lying sacks of, what, shitty. So we're going to continue to see these lying jackasses in the media, and people are going to be like, oh, well, I guess that's the news. He didn't support Hamas. Yeah, he did. He was a rapper that supported Hamas and supported this group of Hamas terrorists that, like I just described, went around and shot people to death in their cars, and then busted in the houses and shot people in their houses by a lot, right? So there's going to be some of these people are going to get exposed, and they're going down. So that's what I think is coming. Now, as far as like these supercharged atoms and so forth, electrons and protons that are coming out of the sun and hitting our planet, it's having an effect. It's having an effect. So in India right now, in every state, so there's 10 different states in India, and every single one of them has massive monsoon rains before monsoon season even started.
Every corner of the country, reports of rivers overflowing, banks or flowing in spate are coming in from across the country. Himachal Pradesh.
Now look at the top of this dam. The water is right there. So you see how they open these shutters for this dam to let more of this water out. And they're like, don't worry, It's okay. All right. So there, maybe, but I think we're going to see some serious problems, guys. It's not just in India. Of course, in China, there's lots of flooding, and it's been going on for, I think, 10 days now. Massive flooding. It's not unusual for there to be flooding in China. We've seen it in the past, but this one seems to be on a little bit different scale. So let's look at a little bit of this.
Next point. All rescue personnel are here. We're the power repair team. Oh no.
So it says flood strike China again with hundreds of thousands fleeing as the city submerges in minutes.
County is evacuating outwards.
According to reports from Chinese media, from 6 a.m. to 12 p.m. on June 28th, Guizhou province experienced widespread rainfall. Heavy rains were recorded at 25 observation stations in Dazhai, Jianhe, Rongjiang, and Leishan counties in Qiandongnan Prefecture, with the highest rainfall of 172.8 millimeters at the Zhouzhizhou Reservoir in Leishan County. Additionally, 46 observation stations in 12 counties recorded heavy rains, while 148 stations recorded moderate rainfall and 276 stations recorded light rainfall.
That's a little severe. A little, all right? Maybe a lot, all right? So there's more record rainfall in central China leads to flooding and evacuations. More than a month's worth of rain was dumped on the city in just 12 hours. So again, the sun giving us a lot of energy right now. It's changing things, but it's also going to be devastating. All right. So these changes basically can affect a lot of different things. So Earth Mama is going through changes, just like we're going through changes. Some of these towns, some of these cities were built not very well, right? Like a lot of those cities, unfortunately, in Florida, they get hammered by hurricanes. And, the ones that I saw it in the little town that I lived in, there's a lot of the stuff that was built back in the 70s and 80s, gone, all right, gone. So some of these cities, are going to go through a lot of problems going forward. They're going to be washed away, cleaned out, just like you saw in some of those. So gushing brown torrents, like you saw there, washed away cars in the city of 300,000, deluged on Monday night. Local media videos showed online as more than 14 inches of rain fell in one area. So 18,000 were shifted to safety. There's lots of bridges that are going. As you saw, homes are being washed away, on and on and on. So this is not unusual in America when we have big hurricanes and flooding like we saw last year. So will this year be even worse? I think there's a strong possibility, unfortunately, that this year will be worse than last. All right, so here's more. Flooding, that's happening. Let me share this with you so you can get an idea what this is like. All right, so we saw some of this in North Carolina last year. Massive 1,000-year flood, and this year, with the help of the deep state, is probably going to be a lot worse, guys. And doesn't that really suck that we have to be concerned about the deep state? Mother Nature is basically going through changes, but we got the deep state, putting their finger on the scale and making things happen on an even greater problems all over the world, right? So wow, it's like, and then of course we're possibly going to have riots in our city. Man, this deep state, they're having to expose themselves because all of the plans that they had, having Iran being a a problem for the Middle East and controlling the Middle East and maybe controlling the world. If they got nukes and they got long range missiles, they could have threatened America. And that's the deep state little Luciferians would love that. Because the Luciferians have to do this, guys. Because they get thrown out of heaven where there was lots of light. And so now they're not in the light, they're in the darkness, right? So they have to hunt. They have to hunt those of us that have the light. And of course, I have the LifeWave patches, which are the light, and activate your own light. So please get on the patch. Look at my description box and you see the LifeWave patches. We just had recently, RFK Jr. said that wearables, like LifeWave, he didn't say LifeWave specifically, but he said wearables, everyone in America should have wearables, right? We've had Olympic athletes that have used those patches. I've used those patches. And I've had amazing results. Of course, everyone has amazing results once they get on the patch and stay on the patch for a long period of time. So get on the patch as these cosmic rays come in and up the light quotient. Have those patches on and basically take your light quotient to another level. Of course, we got the water machine coming in that will actually, you will drink the light, right? And that's coming in probably next month, beginning of next month, early August. So lots of different ways. We got lots of new stuff coming in. So X39, X49 patches, basically be the light. You be the light. And don't let those Luciferians try and take it from you. It's interesting because I started using the patch in June of 2022. And in July, I remember I did a show with Lewis Herms, and we were going to go and basically do a meditation at the the monuments in Georgia, Georgia Guidestones. We're going to go there and do a meditation. So we're going to get on a bus and go to that Georgia Guidestones and do a meditation, a group meditation. And lo and behold, it got blown up before we get there. So life and light can make a difference. Now, I started using the LifeWave patches. Now I used Root product before that, and I was able to get over a lot of the shedding that happens, from people that have been vaccinated. That protected me, but the LifeWave took me to a different level. And I'll share this with you. I believe that it saved my life because at that Lewis Herms event that I spoke at in, I think it was Sarasota or somewhere in Florida, there was a guy that came up and shook my hand. Now, if you've seen the show 24 Hours, where that one guy that, he's basically has 24 hours to save the world. So there's a nuclear bomb that goes off, and then there's a guy that comes up and he's got something on his hand. So this has happened to me a couple of times, unfortunately, where someone wears some kind of clear glove and they have a toxin specifically for me, and they come up and shake my hand. So I went home that night, and as I'm going home, I'm like, and I don't get sick. So I go home and I'm like, wow, I feel bad. I went to bed. I don't have my, watch on. This is my Breitling, but I had my Apple Watch on, and I normally take it off. I've never worn my Apple Watch at night. And the Apple Watch basically, if your heart rate gets out of control, it'll alert. It'll go off. So I'm like, I'm out into bed. So I'm dreaming that a demon comes up and grabs my heart. And I'm like, oh, he's stopping my heart. He's killing me. And so I had a guy that was a Gnostic warrior guy. He used to talk about how sickness and fungus and, parasites and so forth that are in our body, basically it is demonic possession. And there's all kinds of, stuff about that throughout time. Saints have talked about that. So this demon came in after I had that handshake, and I'm like laying in bed, like whacked out hard. This demon came in and my heart, and my watch goes off and I hear it. So I'm like, that demon has me and I can't get out. I can't get out. And then it was like my watch goes off because my heart is being seized. And I like, boom, I came out because it's like, oh, there's my out. I'm back in the real world. And then it stopped. And then I felt better. I was like, whoa, that demon was about to kill me. I started using the LifeWave patches 1 month before that, right? And I think, because I talked to David about some of these things, David Schmidt, the inventor of LifeWave, and I talked about him about some of these things, and he confirmed that, this is basically helping to save a lot of lives. So I think that, going forward, we all should be wearing these things, wearables and so forth. So get on the patch. If you're not on it now, you might regret it. You might regret it going forward. All right. So not trying to fearmonger. I'm just trying to help out as many people as possible. All right. So strongest earthquake in decades, rocks, Campi Flegrei. This is in Italy, and that's super volcano. So you guys know that I've been predicting there's going to be a super volcano or two that will go off in the near future, right? I think that in the Mediterranean somewhere, could be this one, could be somewhere else. One of these is going to go off, right? And I think that another one could happen somewhere in the Ring of Fire. I'm not sure where. There's a prediction from this one woman that predicted the last tsunami that took out Fukushima, the one that devastated Japan. She predicted that. And now she's predicting another one supposed to hit, I think, the 5th or 6th of July. All right. So I think we're going to see some serious upheavals, and that's because the energy is coming in. So let's look at the energies that are coming into Italy and what people are saying about it.
Geophysicist Stefan Burns here. Breaking news. There has just been a magnitude 4.6 earthquake at Campi Flegrei, Italy's supervolcano. And this is in one of the main areas of deformation. And this is a significant earthquake for a volcanic system. Typically, they are of a lower magnitude. And in fact, this is the strongest earthquake that has occurred here in about 40 years. Slightly stronger than the magnitude 4.6 that occurred on March 13th. There have been some other magnitude 4 earthquakes in 2025, also last year in 2024. But in general, these magnitude 4 earthquakes are new to Campi Flegrei in the recent history. So just really the past couple of years, there's been an acceleration of uplift and seismicity and gas emissions at Campi Flegrei since 2005, really going exponential in 2020. And that trend has now continued with this most recent 4.6 earthquake here.
All right. So you guys can see that this thing is starting to, increase more and more. It's coming in faster, harder, right? So these earth changes are going to be hard, right? So think of in your life when you went through changes, the best changes were the ones that were a little bit hard, right? So you had to go through a lot. And that's what we and Earth are going through. We're going through some hard changes to evolve. And it's just the way these things happen. It's not to be fearful. The best thing to do is to be in your intuitive state, and hopefully you get led to a safe place.
We'll get into this as well. So today's event, the 4.6, has slightly different characteristics compared to the most recent earthquakes in the area. It happened at a greater depth and in a more western zone than usual. So no previous event that had magnitude 4 or higher, and we've unfortunately had quite a few of those in the last 2 years, has ever been recorded this far west and this deep. So typically, most of the seismic activity at the Campi Flegrei supervolcano is concentrated between Bagnoli and Pozzuoli, where the hydrothermal system plays a key role in the migration of gas towards the surface and fluids rising up from deep underground.
All right. So, I mean, even where I'm at here, this is Lake Tahoe behind me. So even in Lake Tahoe, a week or two ago, they had a massive storm come in here and sank a boat I think 8 people died. I talked about it on another show. But these things are basically, really, really hammering all over the world. So I don't think any place is completely safe. You're gonna have to like use your own intuition. Maybe sometimes you'll have to hunker down where you're at. It'll be bad, but you'll survive it. Hopefully. So these things are going to come. And then on top of that, we got, the deep state going to start riots in America. It's crazy. It's going to be crazy. Right. So trying to find a place to, continue to exist, continue to go forward and make a difference for humanity. Because those of us that survive over the next 5 years are probably going to live to be 120 or more. All right, so high lava fountains erupt at Kilauea, and some of you are like, I don't want to stay here that long. So it's like, I don't know. I'm like, do I really want to be here? This kind of sucks right now. So if it keeps getting worse, I don't know that I want to be here, but I think it's gonna clear up. We're gonna go through this massive change over the next several years, and then things are gonna be like blue sky. It's gonna be beautiful.
High lava fountains erupted at the summit of Kilauea volcano on Sunday as episode 27 got underway within Hawaii Volcanoes National Park. Sustained lava fountains began just after 8 in the morning and grew slowly. By 9 a.m., the height and vigor of the eruption increased dramatically. Summit inflation changed to deflation and tremor increased. The USGS Hawaiian volcano observed.
All right, so look at that. That thing is fountaining quite high. And if you look at, this has been building. So we're getting close to the rim here. As all this lava comes out, of course, it's filling up the entire, caldera. But as this portion of it continues to erupt, we're getting close to the summit up here. And it could start to overflow and then, of course, go down into where the homes and so forth are. But as of right now, it's just, fountains, like you just saw it for a little bit. Then it stops. Then it fountains again. Then it stops. So here's the full caldera, which is slowly filling. But where this vent has been, it has been growing quite rapidly as far as getting closer to the rim. So will it, get to the point where we don't have a stop? It continues to fountain. It continues to push up lava, and then starts to flow down the side, like we've seen in the past. It's a possibility. Possibilities. Looks like we're getting to that point. Getting to that point there in Hawaii, right? Now, on another note, because Trump has decided not to send any more munitions to Ukraine, the Russians are doing massive penetration across Ukraine. So they're one of the places that they have been working on for a long time, and I think it's because they have massive. Every place where they've had stalls, Mariupol, a couple other cities I can't think of right off the top of my head, but it took them 6 to 8, sometimes a year. Like Chasiv Yar, I think it takes them about a year. And the reason why is during the Cold War, the Russians built massive underground bases, tunnel systems, DUMs, right? Deep underground military, bases. And that's one of the reasons why some of these areas have taken a while. So Chasiv Yar is one of those. So now that Chasiv Yar is falling, just like we saw in those other big bunker complex cities that have basically finally been taken down, we've seen a very, very massive push by the Russians and taking over a lot of property throughout Ukraine. So that I think we're at that point again. And I've been predicting that Russia would start a very, very massive push across Ukraine that would gather a lot of momentum, and it looks like we're getting close to that.
In the northern and southern axis, in the direction of Chasiv Yar, the Russians have made numerous advances. They are now getting very close to full control over the city. have managed to regain control over the residential area here to the southwest of the city and move into Mykolaiivka, gaining a foothold within it. The Russians lack only the small residential area to the southwest of the city to gain 100% full control over Chasiv Yar, as well as a sliver here in the northwestern outskirts. As for Mykolaiivka, gaining control over it will allow the Russians to operationally encircle the Ukrainian forces within the forest patch area here near Chasiv Yar. Gaining control over Mykolaiivka will allow the Russians to secure.
All right, so once they get control of a massive, dumb area like that, the Russians have pushed, very, very far into Ukraine, taking down lots of territory. So here's another one that was Weave Union. This is military summary. There's lots of people that have put out a lot of information. Some of that has been from obviously CIA, deep state media types that push a narrative that Russia is losing. Look, Russia has never been losing. All right, they get pushed back a little bit during a summer offensive like a couple of years ago, but it has been nothing like what Russia is doing now. Really hammering into Ukraine on a massive scale across broad area of Ukraine.
As for very small task of the Russians, first of all, they see the village of Razina under complete control. This will allow the Russians to cut the entire direction into.
All right, so you see in the red area, this is basically where Russia has taken Ukrainian cities. It's pushed into Ukraine and has taken them over. The gray area that you see there is where the Russians are, contesting these areas, but they're moving. You can look I'll try and show you guys up and down the line. You can see where it's like all over a massive front, 1,000 kilometers or more, where Russia is hammering the entire front and taking lots of kilometers every day of Ukrainian soil.
Small pieces, and it will obviously allow the Russians to handle this every single piece separately. Another important thing is that the Russians improved their positions right in front of Novoekonomichne and Nikolaevka. And obviously, this progress on the ground confirms that Ukrainians currently, who are located in this pocket, have no chances to control and to save control over this territory. Now they need to find a solution and to weigh how to retreat from this territory.
So this pincer movement that I've talked about way back, Russia started doing this pincer movement. I don't know if they listen to me or no. They basically started doing this pincer movement, and as you can see right here, where they go deep on the flanks, pincer movement basically you're hitting the flanks of an enemy instead of coming straight at them. The Russians for the longest time were just coming straight at and just like getting chewed up, and then they started doing these flanking maneuvers, which I had talked about. And I said, I wish they'd start doing flanking movements, and then they could, really start to take a lot. And so that's a way they do most of their combat now. So they do flanking movements on either side, and then it leaves these forces that are pretty much trapped internally. Then they take prisoners, or if the Ukrainians wish, they can stay there forever. It's up to them.
Direction of Nikolaevka. And obviously the Ukrainians can't do this through these fields because they will be attacked by the Russians from the north and from the south. And the losses of the armed forces of Ukraine would be very close to 100%. So the only way how to evacuate soldiers from this pocket is to retreat either through the settlement of Miralyubovka and Mikhailovka or through the settlements of Mirne and Malinovka. And according to information we have, the Ukrainians decided to evacuate their soldiers and their assets through the village of Miralyubovka and Mikhailovka. We came to this conclusion based on the video that was published by the Russian forces. For example, this video was published today, and in this video we can see how Ukrainians tried to attack positions significantly during the period.
Okay, so look at this, all of this red. This is basically all of the areas that the Russians have seized from Ukraine. So as you guys can see, it is quite
the Russians
quite massive. quite a massive area. I think they're going to take all of Ukraine eventually. One of the next places I think they're going to start to move, and they see how they have these red dots where they do drone and missile strikes and so forth. Odessa. So I believe they're going to seize the port of Odessa, and so that will basically cut off a lot of the arms that come into Ukraine from that port. Once the Russians seize that, it's the only other place that they can get it is from
Once
Poland.
again, managed to improve their position.
Poland is basically, they just changed leadership in Poland. They have a good guy now. They had a bad guy, somehow got in office, but the Polish basically were like, screw that. We're going to get rid of this guy. And they got a good guy in there. So I don't think the Polish are going to play as much. And they have actually stopped playing on the side of Ukraine already. So that's going to continue. Of course, the other countries will probably still, come in with supplies. I guess they're going to fly it in. They're probably still coming in through train loads and bus loads and tractor trailers and all kind of stuff through the Polish border, but not as much as before. And I think at some point, Russia is probably going to really start to hammer those border crossing areas. They have, touched on them a little bit, but I think that Belarus at some point may join in this war. You see this portion that's red. Basically, this contains. In the past, Russia had massive bunker systems with arms and ammunition and all kind of stuff along this zone right here. As you see, it's separated now. But they have had Russians come in there and help them, right, to a certain extent. I don't know how they're getting away with it, but they have. And so I think this is going to join, and they're going to push the Ukrainians out of Odessa. And they're going to seize control of that port. And it's going to be a massive loss for Ukraine. But these things are coming. So more and more of these losses are coming. And speaking of those European Nazis, we've had mass needle attacks. Can you imagine this? So most of these people that were pricked, is like 145, almost 150, they were pricked by needles. And some of these people they picked up, it's hard to find it, but you can get, there was a couple of names that leaked out. Looks like Muslims, right? Looks like Muslims. Now, this is not something new. This has happened in the past, where men inject women with a drug, which basically incapacitates them, and then they take advantage of them, right? They rape them. And I've seen this when I was a security manager here in Lake Tahoe. And I remember this one guy was like, he's carrying this one woman out. He wasn't carrying her, but he was like helping her out. It's like, I'm helping her out. And so her friends fortunately came up to us, because we were like, okay, yeah, we'll let's get her out of here. She's like out of it. And so her friends came up to us, the security guards, and I was a manager, and they said, that's not her boyfriend. She's not with him. And we're like, whoa, what's going on here? So he had slipped her a Mickey, and I guess he had done this before, and we got him. So this is something that is, happens quite often. I'm just telling you guys this. Be careful in these crowds. And I guess this one woman who was an influencer basically got on and warned people. How did she find out about it? So this happened like 8 or 10 days ago, and we still don't have any information on this. Friggin' French a-holes. So they're covering this up. So there's another side of me that was thinking, well, maybe there was some biological contaminant, like, we saw from Wuhan laboratories. Maybe they've released that into the public. All right. So there's And so I guess they're like doing toxicology reports, and it could take like, weeks. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. This is bullshit going on there in France, guys. Don't go there. Don't go there. Let Candace Owens and Tucker Carlson go there and hang out and bash Trump. But I would be very careful in a lot of these, especially these places that have allowed a lot of Muslims, right? These cities that have allowed a lot of Muslim men and not a lot of women, right? So be very careful out there, guys. So they're not, of course, they allowed all these Muslim men to come in because they wanted to replace the population like they wanted to do here. So they have cheap slaves because the French, they don't like to work. They don't like to work. They're always, trying to get more time off and do less work and get paid more, which I don't think any of us should have to work, really. So why not? Whatever. Do what you love. It's like that's what they push on the young people now, right? Don't work. You shouldn't have to work. The government should just give you everything. Communist, right? So it's pretty screwed up out there. We have to fix a lot of stuff. So in these big cities are allowing all this to happen. So let's look at a little piece of this. Show this one window.
Across France turned into a nightmare for dozens of mainly women attending the country's annual street music festival. The French Interior Ministry telling NBC News 145 people reported being pricked by needles in attacks and multiple assaults nationwide, 13 in Paris alone. And there was concern before the event. The social media influencer shared a chilling post telling women to be careful.
Que faire si vous avez été drogué? Je vous le laisse un petit peu comme ça vous laisse le temps de screen.
And what to do if they're attacked, saying there have been calls online to assault women with needles.
So what is all this? So the social influencer, how did she get wind of this? And with all the cell phones that are out there, can you imagine yourself being pricked by a needle? What would you do? Would you turn and look at where that prick had come from? Right? So obviously there's been a lot of people that were filmed because I think they got 12 or 14 of these assholes. What should happen to these people that do that? I think there should be some severe, very severe consequences for that, especially if some of these toxicology reports come back and show that they were trying to do date rape drug, all right, on these women, or they released a biological. If they released a biological, I think the French government will cover that up because maybe this is something they want to spread out there. So all these women that were pricked, and some of them were like, it felt like I got vaccinated. Really? You felt like you got vaccinated? So we know what happens when people here in America around the world got vaccinated, right? With the COVID-19 lie. They got real sick and a lot of them died. More people died from the vaccination than died from COVID itself, guys. And they're still dying. The shedding that happened from people. I talked about this on another show. And I saw that one comment where a guy talked about how he didn't get vaccinated, but he had a buddy that got vaccinated, and they were like doing hunting and spent a lot of time together in the same cabin or something like that. And he got like super sick, immune deficiency problems, all kinds of crazy stuff. So yeah, guys, we have to be very careful going forward. We know the deep state wants to take us down. Isn't that ridiculous? But this is what I talked about earlier. This is Luciferian agenda. The Luciferians want to turn us into a slave world, right? And this is something that we can't allow to happen. We have to like raise our vibration, raise our light, and start to see through all of these different things to stop them out. All right, so more of those attacks are coming. The French aren't like letting on, what's going on there. So we have to figure it out ourselves. So the economy is collapsing. All right, like I talk about. One of those things that happened back in 2008, 2009 was a housing crash, and then the stock market came down, right? And then they came out and they like dumped all kind of money into the system, free money, just like they did during COVID, and everything took off. And when they dumped all that money into the system in COVID, people went out and bought houses and everything that moved, right? Everything that moved, and then things that didn't move, like houses. And so now they're regretting that because these housing prices are in reverse, massive reverse.
Is inventory. Inventory is skyrocketing all across the state. For instance, listings are up 75% year over year in Oxnard, 72% in Stockton, 72% in Napa, 66% in San Diego, 60% in Merced, 60% in Santa Cruz, 56% in San Jose.
All right, so this is, Florida and Vegas were the two places where it really, that's where it really started. And it is starting pretty heavily in Florida. Housing prices are going down. People are leaving Florida because it's very inexpensive. Now, a lot of people are going to say, oh, that's so bad, but it's another one of those things that has to happen, guys, because the housing prices are way out of control, And very few people can afford houses now. Very few. It used to be like everyone at one point, was going to get a house or a condo or something, right? And now most people can't afford it. My house is an 1890 Victorian in Maine. Ah, beautiful. So, that's something that stays in the family, generational, that'd be nice. It stays in the family, like, but who would want to stay in some of these homes these days? Not a lot of people. So they're, in Florida is becoming pretty much retirement. The whole state's retirement. You don't have young families like you used to have in the past because young families can't afford it. So something has to change. I guess a lot of hurricanes coming through this year will probably change a lot of things, but with housing prices collapsing, like we're going to see, we'll see, people will flock to areas where the houses are cheaper. And that's what's happening now from people leaving California, as you saw there, now are leaving. If you're not a multimillionaire, you can't even really afford a home in California. But maybe in the future, when everything reverses and comes down to, which it always does, comes down to a level where it's more affordable. Will you be in a position where you can afford that at that point? Well, if you have been getting silver, you would be, Dr. Kirk Elliott. So, load it up. All right. So, if you're not, then, because a lot of people are in crypto, when we see things turn around, like right now, crypto is down. NASDAQ was down pretty hard. Now I remember back during the .com bust, I was heavily invested all the way back then and lost like 70-80% of my portfolio. I learned the hard way that you don't hold. All right. At some point you got to get out. All right. So what did Warren Buffett do? He's out. He's out of everything. The most prolific investor in history is out of the stock market. Hello. So everybody's jumping in. Everybody's talking about, it's like it's not going to go down. It's one of those times where you better buy the dip. There's going to be a lot of people going to get burned hard, right? So if I look at the price of silver, and I'll probably do this, percentage-wise, silver is up more than the NASDAQ, S&P, and Dow, right? Percentage-wise, and it's really gonna go up a lot more. So it's up to you guys. Get it while it's cheaper than it's gonna be. Now a lot of you don't want to buy it. Think it's too expensive now, and I understand. Back when it was in the 20s and so forth, people were like piling it up. Now in the 30s, people were like backing off. At 33, people started to back off, and I think now we're at 37, getting ready to go to 50, 60, 70, probably towards the end of the year. It's people are like, are going to like, once it goes that high, that's when everybody is going to probably find the money to buy it. All right. So not yet. All right. Because we haven't seen that rush to it yet. Just like we're seeing a lot of people have rushed into the stock market, have rushed into crypto. So every time there's a downturn, crypto really gets hammered, guys, hard. What does silver and gold do? They go up. And that's been basically the trend over the last month or so. Silver has, tried to press silver down like they have in the past, and there's just too many people buying it now. And I think that you're having the BRICS community basically trying to line this up too, so that this help out the collapse of this corrupt economy. So a lot of things are being exposed. The Dems, with all of their, what's the latest? I think it's the code blue, whatever that blue. Let me look at my X. So I posted something over there about, I think it's Act Blue. So a lot of people went into Act Blue, and they found it to be a money laundering scheme. And it's probably going to be a lot of prosecution. So people, Democrats that voted, or not voted, but donated to Act Blue, like gave maybe 25. They had lots of people that talked about this. I think it was Exposed. And who was exposing it? Let me pull it up. So it says Act Blue must face Congress after massive fraud and foreign election funding. Foreign election from where? Foreign election? Foreigners coming in and trying to change, collapse our country with the Dems. So China and Russia basically poured money into Act Blue. So let's say someone was donating to Act Blue. They thought, they're Democrat and they thought, Act Blue was a good thing. And so they give them $25 a month, $300 a year. And then they find out they did investigative work, and they found out they were giving $12,000 because they have to have someone that's not paying attention, because one of these people was a woman that has Alzheimer's, dementia, and she's not involved anymore. So they through her, they gave like $20,000 or something crazy, and she hadn't been donating in a while because she's got dementia. So they came in and did this a lot. So Act Blue. So you're cutting off the money for the Dems. You're cutting off, the border crossings of child trafficking. The Democrat Party, the party of child trafficking and child sex slavery. They own that because they opened the borders and allowed that to come in. 300,000 children unaccounted for. That's the Democrat Party. So the Democrat Party is no longer getting that money from child sex trafficking. And they're no longer getting it from Act Blue. Donations coming from overseas, from countries that want our country to collapse. They don't want Trump in there because Trump does the right thing. They're like, damn it, we want to rule the world, and we don't want America to get in the way. So, yes, USAID, very good. Crystal bringing that up. So that's another one. So look at USAID. It's pretty much completely collapsed that. Act Blue, probably the same thing. And I think Soros was a big proponent of Act Blue and gave a lot of money into Act Blue, right? So we know that boy is a bad boy. And his son. Wow. So Huma Abedin marrying Soros' son. I guess Soros didn't get out much, but he decided to marry Huma Abedin. So the things are going to be revealed are going to be incredible. And then the people that are trying to get in the way, the people that are posing as MAGA, Candace Owens and Tucker Carlson and so forth, there's a lot of them out there. I'm just picking on those two because they're prominent. There's a lot of them out there. You have to be choosy. You have to start looking at this stuff, and it's gonna reveal itself to you. If you do just a little bit of research, right? All right, so that's pretty much what I'm covering today. There's lots of other things. There's, I guess, more fencing has gone up around the White House. I said this a while ago. People are like, "Oh, they're putting up fencing again around the White House." And I was like, "It was probably for the 4th of July, but it could be for rioting." We're going to put this up because there's going to be parties, and if you're having a 4th of July celebration, why would you put up walls because there's going to be riots, right? From those no kingers, right? So who knows, what is going to happen? It's going to be pretty crazy out there. So thanks for all you guys that came in. Lots of you guys watched today. I guess you guys like the West Coast time, so works out pretty good. I used to have a lot. I guess when I had my huge subscriber base, it was because I was here on the West Coast. So who knows? Maybe I'll get it back faster, because it is happening, but it's been slow rolling. Now that I'm settled, maybe I'll get some more shows out there. You guys have more reason to come in and watch. So it'll be good. All right, guys. Lots of love. Stay in the love vibration, because that's not the vibration of Lucifer. All right, that's a vibration of the Dems, the Luciferians, and a lot of other people. So, and if you're a Dem and you're not vibrating at Luciferian, get out of the Dem party. Stop it. All right, come on. And I'm saying, don't go to any party. Don't. I guess you got to vote, so you got to have one of those parties. Doesn't that suck? You gotta claim one of those parties to vote. It's like, why can't it be just like me? It's like, I'm Michael Jaco. Here's my ID. I'm not any party. Well, then you won't be able to vote because you have to be affiliated with one of them. See, we got to change that. We got to change it. There's a lot of changes have to happen. Got to roll with the changes. Like Arrows, who's that? REO Speedwagon. Roll with the changes. All right, so little goodie but oldie. Oldie but a goodie, right? Something like that. All right, lots of love, guys. Stay in the love vibration. Keeps you into your intuition, as more of you guys are starting to get intuition. It used to be 70-30, and now it's under 60%. So you lovely ladies, intuition well. I guess you've been teaching your men, and you men have been getting it. So good. I like it. Let's get all the men intuitive. All of you. That way we can survive into the future and have a beautiful world with no deep state. All right, we can clean them up, and we're doing it. All right, lots of love. See you guys next time.